39. Inez, in these poor economic times, people want to be sure that they are getting good value for their money. I predict people would be more willing to buy antiques at our fair if we first have the objects inspected by professional appraisers who would remove any objects of questionable authenticity. Annika, I disagree with your prediction. Our customers already are antique experts. Furthermore, hiring professional appraisers would push up our costs considerably, thus forcing us to raise the prices on all our antiques. Annika's response proceeds by. So we are looking at what Annika said and considering how she argues. Well, she disagrees with Inez's prediction, right? She says, well, Inez is saying, well, I predict people are going to be more willing to buy antiques at our fair if we do a certain thing, right? And then Annika says, I disagree. I think we would end up raising the prices and then they might not be more likely to buy it, right? So Annika says, well, I think what you're saying basically might not happen, right? And she gives evidence for it. So let's look at our answers. A, indicating that a particular plan would have an effect contrary to the anticipated effect. Yeah, I kind of like A, right? Because Annika's saying, well, Inez, your plan wouldn't really do what you think it would do, right? Because Inez is saying, well, more people are going to buy our antiques, and Annika's saying, well, we would have to raise our prices though, so maybe less people would buy, right? If you raise the prices, people might not be getting good value for their money. People might not buy it because Inez's whole reason for why she predicts more people would be willing to buy antiques is because she thinks people are getting more value for their money and that these are bad economic times, right? So raising the prices would go against that. So A sounds like a really good answer option, but we should read B, C, D, and E. B, claiming that a particular plan should not be adopted because while effective, it would have at least one undesirable consequence. Annika never gives the concession that Inez's plan is effective, right? That's the only hesitation I have with B, because other than that, B sounds pretty good. But does Annika ever say, hey, Inez, your plan is effective? No, right? Annika says, well, our customers are already antique experts, right? So she's saying, well, what value is your suggestion even adding, right? So that's why I would cross out B. C, arguing that an alternative plan could achieve a desired result more easily than the plan originally proposed. Is Annika saying, hey, look at my alternative plan, we can achieve the same desired result? Not quite, right? Is Annika saying, oh, I have another idea where we can make people more willing to buy antiques? Not really, right? Annika's just saying, I disagree with your prediction and this is why, right? She's not suggesting an alternative method for people to make people more willing to buy antiques. So I would cross out C for that reason. D, questioning the assumption that authorities are available who have special knowledge of the problem under discussion. Okay, so D is saying, well, Annika is questioning whether there are authorities that have special knowledge. Well, if this said about antiques, that would be wrong, but it's also wrong when they're discussing the problem under discussion, right? Is Annika saying, well, are there authorities that can, evaluate the problem that we're having, right? I guess those could be the appraisers, but even still, right? Annika's saying, well, our customers could be those appraisers, right? There's no discussion on, well, would they be available, right? Are these appraisers available for us? Yeah, whether or not they're available isn't really a concern for them, so we could cross out D for that reason. Whether or not the appraisers are the problem under discussion, it doesn't matter. Either way, D doesn't really work. E, offering a counterexample in order to show that a particular general claim is too broadly stated. Does Annika say, well, you're being too broad about this anywhere? No, right? Where is Annika saying that Inez is being too broad? Nowhere, right? Is there a general claim that's being stated by Inez that Annika would be disagreeing with? I don't think so, right? Maybe the general claim could be in these poor times, people want to make sure they're getting good value for their money. That sounds like a general claim, but is Annika offering a counterexample to show that that general claim is too broad? No, right? So I would also cross out E and feel pretty good about picking A here. A would be your answer.